Hello again. Now, Police Minister Bheki Cele has told Parliament that crime intelligence is improving. He was answering questions in Parliament yesterday as part of the Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster. But KwaZulu-Natal-based violence researcher and human rights activist Mary De Haas is not convinced. She joins us now to discuss this further. Mary, good afternoon. Welcome to today, and thank you very much for your time. I watched and listened yesterday as Minister Cele was telling parliamentarians that crime intelligence needs to be fixed. It's been a problem, but he was claiming that it has improved, and he cited a couple of examples where he said police were able to nab the suspects because crime intelligence has improved. Is that the case?
No, I would have thought it was obvious it hadn't improved. I mean, have you seen any decrease in mass shootings and hitmen killing people? And I mean, don't forget, I think people here have short memories. This minister was dismissed by President Zuma after the Malloy Commission findings, which found, among other things, that he had lied under oath. And even the media at the time picked up the fact that he was giving contradictory evidence. So why should we believe him?
The state of...
Why is he still a minister?
Yeah. What's the state of crime intelligence? I'm asking this because you've written about your concerns, for example, about the new head of crime intelligence, General Dumisani Khumalo.
Oh, indeed. He's not a trained intelligence person. I mean, my information is he was a KwaZulu policeman guarding the Zulu King. He was thus incorporated into Operation Response. That's where he was during the last Parliament, because a friend of mine on the Portfolio Committee had to have an urgent meeting, go to an urgent meeting of the Portfolio Committee. I mean, this is the last one before the last elections, because he said General Sithole was causing, he was a brigadier then, was causing so much trouble that he had to be quickly moved somewhere else and he was then moved to head a very, very irregular political killings task team in this province. He's never been trained as a detective, and he was reporting directly to the minister. So he hadn't any training there either. And more recently, he and the minister, because you see, you also have to understand something very important that most South Africans should be up in arms about. The minister clearly is running the police himself, and it is unconstitutional. You see, I mean, it's not the job of ministers to run the police, but most of them are to run their departments, but more of them are. I mean, the Justice is the same, Justice Department. It is grossly unconstitutional. The minister is supposed to be concentrating on policy issues, making sure that the police behave in terms of the law, and he is running it himself. And that's why he wants to get rid of any commissioners who don't let him do exactly as he likes. Now,
yeah, because he's the political.
This is not the way you run a government department.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the political head of the department, not the operator. The operator is supposed to be the commissioner, but that's not happening. So, what should change, Mary, in your view, for us to have improved crime intelligence? Because we understand the importance of crime intelligence in the prevention of crime, particularly violent and organized crime.
Oh, look, absolutely. I mean, it starts with crime intelligence. Every station should have a crime intelligence member to inform the operations. I mean, clearly it's not working. And the problem is crime intelligence has got a lot of criminals in it. I mean, in our province, there's a man who's convicted of party a drug dealer and his family working for crime intelligence, and he runs businesses, trucking businesses. He's in crime intelligence. Crime intelligence orchestrated the killings in Disa Magaka. Now, it's tough on the good members of crime intelligence because you've also got people in crime intelligence in the different provinces who are kind of trying to do their work properly. But this is the story of the police generally. Now, what should be done? Obviously, the removal of the minister. I don't know why he's still minister, because he even orders the president around. The president says to Thabiso Zulu, you can have protection, clearly countermands it. Why is this man who's got other criminal cases against him, including for a World Cup tender, why is he still Minister of Police? So, I mean, that's the first thing. And even if he were minister and he stopped interfering in operations, it would be an improvement. Because quite frankly, I mean, crime intelligence is the worst of all because that is what's supposed to preempt and stop it and identify the hitmen, identify where the guns are. It's not doing it. But the whole management of the piece needs to be an audited in terms of how did they get appointed? Was it regular? Who appointed them? Ultimately, I mean, IPID is not doing its job. There's no oversight of the police. IPID was ordered 6 years ago by Concord to produce legislation. Parliament hasn't done it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only solution I can see is a judicial ombudsman that can handle these complaints and follow them up.
But short of those changes, is it fair to say we are in trouble? We shouldn't expect real success in the fight against crime in our country.
We are in big trouble. I mean, you've only got to look at all the guns and ammunition that's killing people at the moment. I mean, he also controls SERA. I mean, the Minister of Police has huge powers. And remember, I mean, I think this is the most important thing about this. We are a constitutional democracy, right? Now, ministers do policy issues. And I mean, policy issues have gone by the board. I mean, there should have been a policy implemented 4 years ago to change the police, and it hasn't happened. But we should have bureaucracies that are relatively independent. That's the way democracy works. You can never distance them altogether from politics. But we don't have that. We have ministers and MECs running departments.
Okay.
Now, I mean, you can imagine what will happen. So what change can we expect in the next election? Supposing the ANC's voted out, supposing there's a coalition, all those people are sitting there in government departments, which should be operating. The whole idea about bureaucracies in democracies is that they are there as a counter to counter overt abuse of power. But we are basically a police state at the moment.
Okay.
The police run this place. They break the laws. They do as they like because there's no oversight, including from the president. We're in big trouble next year unless we do something.
And there's no accountability.
I mean, look at Ismakashula.
Sorry, Mary, I have to cut you there.
But
Sorry,
it networks everywhere.
Yeah, I have to cut you in there. We're running out of time, but you're making a very good point. We will chat again soon because this is a very important matter. It's crucial, in fact, that we don't forget that our police need help. They needs to be fixed so that you and I can feel safe in our homes. That's KwaZulu-Natal-based researcher and human rights activist Mary De Haas.